Connect with us for a time of worship, prayer, and Bible study with Pastor David McKinley.
Trust Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale for your first alert. Celebrating 30 years with Richard Rogers. Happy 30th anniversary, Richard. You're watching News 12 live at 5. Continues.
Well, veteran support can come in many shapes and sizes. How some of the larger animals in Aiken are helping our veterans in just a moment.
But first, Under the Lights coming up in just a minute. The rain, though, isn't expected to stick around. It's not a good thing.
Well, we needed the rain,
We
but it's
do.
not for football.
And not when the Columbia County Fair is also canceled because of tonight.
That's true.
I mean, it's not the best night to have all this happen.
Riley doesn't seem to like it too much either.
No.
We've been really nice lately. We've had some good dry weather. It's been a little bit warm maybe for November.
Veteran support is something we try to do all year long, but naturally, when we get closer to Veterans Day, it really comes to the forefront.
Our cityhood was in Aiken today, where even the horses are celebrating.
The horses are big, but the smiles and the hearts are even bigger at Equine Rescue. They rescue horses like Ruby here, but they also rescue humans in more ways than one. The Trust and Release program helps veterans and active military care for the horses. And trust is key here. Like humans, the horses pick up on our energy and help us feel more comfortable. The overall goal is to help veterans increase their self-confidence and social skills.
The horses out here help people more than we help the horses. You just look at them in their eyes, they look back at you, and they have certain behaviors that let you know that they're just very relaxed and comfortable with you.
Most of the people these horses interact with don't have any experience at all, but that's okay because Ruby here is a master teacher. Coming up on you tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, how a simple touch can make the most special relationship.
And Ruby is so sweet. They're a great organization out there in Aiken. Other nonprofits and organizations that can help include the Veterans K-9 Solutions, Wounded Warrior Project, Forces United, and so many others across the CSRA.
The high school football playoffs are in full swing across the two-state, and for all of our local teams still standing, it is win or go home.
Yes, it is. News 12 Sports Director Dan Booth joins us live in the studio to help kick off our Under the Lights coverage for Week 13. Dan.
Meredith and Will, thank you. Our local Georgia teams are joining the postseason party tonight, while 7 of our local South Carolina teams are still representing the CSRA in round number 2. Let's begin tonight's playoff coverage over in Johnston, South Carolina, with our Under the Lights game of the week. News 12's Alyssa Lyons joins us live from Strom Thurmond High School ahead of the Rebels' second round showdown with the Keenan Raiders.
Yeah, Dan, the last time I was here, the thunder hit pretty hard, but tonight we were able to escape the rain just like Strom hopes to escape Keenan. And that's a big part of this reason why tonight, this is right here. Look at it. Take a good look at it. It says Webb's Warriors. This sign has been posted out here from that Saluda game. It originally was supposed to be called the Rebellion, but then they came out from that Saluda game and saw this, and he said, what the heck? But it's really paid off. It's helped Strom lift over those home opponents that they've faced this season. So far, this team has faced 6 home games this year, and they've outscored their opponents 233 to 48. The last coming just in the first round last week against Landrum when they won 49 to 7. It's the 6th game of the season where they've put more than 40 points on the board. Their success comes from getting the most out of their players in every phase of the game.
Defenses give the ball back to the offense, and we've got great offensive players, and led by Quan at quarterback, and as much as we can give him the football and his playmakers around him, and then the guys buy into special teams. So a lot of times we have a lot of short fields from the special team units. So all that equals points on the board.
Coach says that this team takes a lot of pride of putting it in the end zone. And after every single game, Coach Webb says, hey, the scoreboard doesn't lie. We have a lot more coverage coming your way in the next half hour. Dan?
Well, thank you, Alyssa, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see how everything plays out over there. And our Under the Lights coverage continues with Nick Veland, who's at Greenbrier right now, where the Aquinas Fighting Irish will be kicking off their postseason against the Glasscock County Panthers.
Yeah, that's right, Dan. Both teams just arrived, and anticipation's up in the air. Aquinas is very excited to host a playoff game, coming off of a region win last week, and now being the 1 seed. But as you just said, we're at Greenbrier, not even at Aquinas. Greenbrier is where Aquinas has called their home turf all season long, and tonight is no different when hosting Glasscock County in the first round. Head coach James Leonard says that playing away from home is one of the many obstacles, including having a new practice field and dealing with injuries all season long. But Leonard says his guys are able to handle everything thrown their way.
It really doesn't affect us a whole lot. It's not a bad ride at all, and the people at Greenbrier have taken such great care of us. They've been phenomenal, very helpful, gone out of their way to help us, and we can't say thank you enough for Greenbrier.
And coming up all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock. More on this matchup and how Glasscock County will look to win their first ever playoff game in school history.
Well, thank you, Nick. And despite playing on the road for basically the entire season, Aquinas has certainly made the most of all their time on the field. Both Wagner Sally and Blackville Hilda have less than 250 students, making them two of the smaller schools in South Carolina. But I can promise you there is nothing small about their showdown in the second round of the playoffs tonight. This game is a region rematch, a game earlier this season, which Blackville Hilda won 34-8. Despite the final result, this was a one-score game in the fourth quarter when those two played. Wagner Sally head coach Willie Fox says his team is the youngest team that he has ever coached. The Warhawks roster is filled with freshmen and sophomore while having only 2 seniors on the whole team. Coach Fox says his team is a lot different from the last time these two teams played in September.
We feel like we're a lot different team than we were at that point of the year, and we're just going to try to right our wrongs and try to do a good job of doing some things in this game that we didn't do a good job of in the first game.
He runs a very difficult offense to stop. I've described it to a couple of different folks, and as a rugby scrum, it's kind of like wrestling a gang of porcupines in a phone booth.
After going 2-8 last year, Blackville Hilda is sitting at 9-2 right now, hosting their second playoff game in as many weeks. Our Under the Lights coverage is just getting started because on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we'll be checking back in with Alyssa ahead of Strom Thurmond's showdown with Keenan. Nick continues to break down that first down matchup between Aquinas and Glasscock County, while News 12's Will Volk will be diving into what's behind Blackville Hilda's recent success.
All right, thanks for that, Dan. Looking forward to some great games tonight, and we are anticipating the threat for a few showers tonight and all weekend long. We'll have another look at this forecast just after the break. We're going to see temps in the 60s most of next week for high temps, and it looks like more rain's back by next Wednesday.
All right, thanks, Riley. Georgia farmers say they've never seen it this bad. Nearly a dozen Georgia counties declared natural disaster areas because of the lack of rainfall.
As Abby Kasouris finds, the drought could even impact you at the grocery store.
At Dyer Livestock, about 90 miles outside of Atlanta, they raise cattle, about 100 at a time, and then they sell the beef. The cattle industry is a $2 billion industry here in Georgia. Northwest Georgia farmers say if the drought continues, the price of beef will rise.
It's been dry.
Cattle farmers Jeremy and Sarah Dyer are looking at a field that's usually green and lush.
We plant ryegrass, which is a winter annual.